Hey guys, welcome to the video. If you've clicked the video, you are trusting in me to give you the right information for the muscle up. There's so many muscle up tutorials out there, so I'm trying to give my unique take on the skill, the specific details, the technical cues I'm looking for to execute the movement properly. And I'm gonna show you some regressions if we're not yet at that level to be performing the muscle up. How do we build up the strength and what technique are we looking for that tricky transition? Let's do it, but first, let's warm up.
You're not my dad. I told you 3 cups of tomato sauce. You're not my dad.
All right, we've lowered the rings down and we're gonna talk through the technique. So this is your fully formed muscle up. This muscle up it's absorbed Android 18 and Android 17. This is perfect muscle up. The technique here is we apply a false grip. That is grabbing the ring, getting the wrist slightly over the ring, and hanging from that position. You will develop a callus. Can we see it? In this part of the wrist. That is how you know you are false gripping correctly. Common mistakes when we first start is we don't chalk, so we slip out of that false grip. Other mistake is we slip out of the false grip regardless, because it's something that we just need to practice and understand what that feeling is of having that part of the wrist on the pinky side over on top of the ring. This is what gives us the leverage to get into muscle up. Without that false grip, we're asking the wrist to do something no man has ever done. Lift it on its own. So that's why we have the false grip. With that false grip applied in dead hang, what we're looking for is a high pull to the chest in false grip. So we have our false grip in a hang, we're pulling up, turning the rings in to that high position on the chest. If we can't get a high pull, particularly if we can't get that high pull on in a false grip, it leaves us little chance into getting the muscle up. So this is what we're working with first. High pulls to the chest, ideally. From this position here, we essentially have the hands and the rings closed on the chest. Let's look at them as curtains. The chest is once upon a time in Hollywood, and the rings are the premiere. So we want to pull the curtains back to reveal the chest. Always keep the rings close to the body. So when we pull them apart, we're not pulling them away from the body, we're just pulling them to the side of the chest. From this position here, we should be continually pulling. So when we do that high pull, imagine you could pull yourself up to this position. We want to keep that pressure pulling on the rings. As we pull into that position and open up the rings, continuing to pull, we drive the elbow back.
How you going, governor?
I did that in class once and it fell flat, but it's that position there. Elbow staying straight, not flaring out, going directly behind the body. High pull, open up the curtains, drive the elbows back. As we drive the elbows back, we roll the shoulder over the ring, and that puts us in our deep dip position. From this deep dip position, we're simply dipping up, pressing up into our support. The tricky part is the transition, so that's where we spend most of our time. Let's recap. False grip, hang, high pull to the chest, turn the rings in. From this high pull, we open up the rings to reveal the chest. Continuing to pull, we drive the elbows backwards and we roll the shoulders over the rings. That puts us in our deep dip position. From here, the transition is done. We dip to support. Holla! Okay, now that we've spoken about the technique of the muscle up, how do we train towards that if we can't just apply that technique to our muscle up? Here's the things that you need prior to even thinking about getting a muscle up. You need mobility in a deep dip position. You should be able to hold yourself in a deep dip position, feet off of the ground for 10 to 20 seconds. And you should be able to have the mobility to be here. It shouldn't be risky for you to be down here doing this. Second thing, you need to be able to have the false grip. And these aren't in order of priority, you need all these. You need to be able to have that false grip. Don't have false grip, don't have the muscle up. Third thing, we need to be able to pull up to the chest. If we can't pull up to the chest, we won't be high enough so that when we open up the rings, we won't be able to get the shoulders on top. If we can only pull up to here, sure, we can open up the rings, but when we roll the shoulders, they're still below the rings. There's nowhere for them to go, so we can't get that muscle up. We need a high pull, mobility in the deep dip position, and comfortability with that false grip, being able to maintain it. Chalk is your friend. Patience, consistency, and practice is also your friend. Now, what do we do to work towards the muscle up if we don't yet have the strength to do it? My number one favorite exercise is the negative or the eccentric. So, how we do the eccentric is everything I just described to you for the muscle up, we reverse it. So starting from our support position up here, we lower down into our deep dip position. From here, the shoulders will come behind the rings as we lower the elbow. From this position here, we close the curtains on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It was a good movie. We enjoyed the premiere. Leonardo DiCaprio is such a great actor. Now we're in that high pull position and we lower ourselves down to hang. If you can control the negative, you are building strength for the positive or the concentric portion of the muscle up. If you can, in the negative, this is the aim of your negative, go from support to dip, lower the elbows, shoulders behind, and close with body weight, you are priming yourself ready for the muscle up. That will pretty much put you in the position to do the muscle up. But there's a couple of missing links there. What are the missing links? We need to work that high pull position. If we can't get it, as I've said many times already, up to our chest, we won't get the muscle up. So we either need to be practicing eccentrics, holding ourselves here in this static position for approximately 10 seconds, and plus or, holding ourselves here for a second or two, and then lowering down. The eccentric will build strength in the concentric by, if we can hold ourselves here, great. If we can hold ourselves and lower ourselves down, controlled the whole way, awesome. And then we should be able to start to hold ourselves, lower, pull back. Lower through a greater range of motion, pull back. Lower all the way to the bottom, pull up, we've got our high pull. And then the last thing is keeping our feet on the floor and going through the concentric phase. So that would be, my feet are on the floor at the moment. I have my false grip, go to hang. I pull up to my high pull, open up the curtains, roll the shoulders forward and drive the elbows back, and then I can press up. What I want to do is start working on taking the feet away. So what I would probably do is have feet on the ground to begin with, then have 1 foot on the ground, then be up on my toes on just that 1 foot, and then take that foot away. There's many different ways you can do it, but that would be just a simple way I would try to progress it. You're always aiming to regress it to the point where it's challenging, but you can complete it, and then we're slowly trying to take that assistance away till we're working with just our body weight. So, homework, get a deep dip position, get a high pull with false grip, work the eccentric and work the concentric with assistance, and the muscle up will be yours. Why did I do the cliche click? I'm gonna break my finger. That's the muscle up tutorial, guys. Any other questions, leave them in the comments section down below. I hope you enjoyed my take and my little details helps you to dial in your muscle up. Subscribe if you got something out of the video, and I will see you for the next one.